You don't have to be intuitive to feel it. Something is changing. The pace, the priorities, the energy underneath everything. It's been building for years, but lately it's impossible to ignore. We're watching the old ways come apart. The systems that defined the last few centuries, government, medicine, education, religion, the way we work, they're collapsing under their own weight. They were built on a kind of structure that served a world driven by logic, hierarchy, and control, what I call the era of masculine. It's not about gender, it's about energy, about the dominance of doing over being, force over flow, and the illusion that control equals safety. For generations, that worked, at least on the surface. It built industries, technologies, economies. But it came at a cost. It trained us to measure worth by output, to disconnect from intuition, to override the body, to stay loyal to systems that never cared if we broke down, as long as we kept performing. And now those same systems are crumbling because they can't hold the frequency of where we're headed next. We're entering what human design calls the sleeping phoenix cycle, a new energetic era that officially begins in 2027. Though we've been feeling its tremors for years, it's a transition from collective dependence to individual alignment, from the logic of we survive by structure to the truth of we thrive through authenticity. In the era that's ending, safety came from fitting in. In the one we're moving into, safety will come from integrity, from living what's real, not what's expected. This new frequency is personal. It demands embodiment. It asks us to build our lives from resonance instead of obedience. And we can already see it. People leaving jobs that no longer align with their values. Healthcare workers walking away from systems that don't let them practice real healing. Educators rewriting how children learn. Relationships dissolving when they can't sustain honesty. Everything that was built on hierarchy and suppression is being restructured by force, not because people are rebellious, but because evolution doesn't negotiate. We're watching the deprogramming of the masculine frequency, the collective unraveling of everything that was built on push. And yes, it's messy. The economy is uncertain, the leadership is divided, the mental health crisis is everywhere, but it's not chaos, it's correction. The body of humanity is recalibrating from rigid to fluid, from control to connection. If you want to prepare for what's coming, it's not about strategy, it's about capacity. The next era will require people who can regulate themselves, who can hear their own intuition beneath the noise, who can choose rest without guilt, who can create from internal authority instead of external approval. You'll need to know what's yours and what's not, because the future belongs to the self-led, the ones who can anchor in truth while everything else falls away. So if you've been feeling tired, detached, disillusioned, that's not a flaw. That's your system sinking to the new frequency before the rest of the world catches up. You're not behind, you're early. The old world is falling apart, the new one is already forming. In you, in your choices, in your body, learning how to move from force to flow. That's what deprogramming the masculine really is. It's the end of survival and the beginning of embodiment. And the ones who trust the shift, who slow down enough to actually hear themselves again, will be the ones holding the frequency for what's next.